my name is Jamie Pierce. I'm from the Illinois State Athletic Training Department, and I'm here this summer interning for RehabWorks.
Hi, I'm Landis. I'm from UNC Chapel Hill, and I'm also an athletic training student there.
Today we want to talk to you about tech neck, more specifically the causes and implications that may be affecting you. Alright, so what is tech neck? Today we'll cover the basic anatomical structures, how it prevents itself, how it can be affecting you, and how you can prevent and treat your own symptoms.
So what exactly is tech neck? Tech neck is neck pain caused from forward head posture and spending too much time in a flexed cervical spine position. Tech neck often becomes symptomatic in individuals who display poor posture while working at the computer or while on their smartphones, and all of this can cause premature aging of the neck. So tech neck is a relatively new condition. It's starting at a younger and younger age due to the new technology and due to parents getting their kids smartphones and iPads at a younger and younger age. Kids are always looking down, whether it's in the car or at home, and it's causing symptoms of tech neck.
Alright, so first I want to show you guys a few pictures and see if you recognize these situations in your daily life. So as you can see, the positioning of tech neck affects everyone, and studies are showing that the younger you start, the more dramatically the effects will be on you. So as me and Anna have both said, tech neck can affect everyone. Tech neck is beginning at a young age due to the advancements of technology. These advancements include Game Boys, other personal gaming systems, iPads, iPhones that are bringing our youth into this forward head flex position. It also is primarily affecting those who work on a desktop computer. This is because people aren't sitting in proper positioning while working on a daily basis. If these signs are not addressed, it will affect individuals for the rest of their lives. So some problems we can have from tech neck include strained neck muscles and weak neck muscles. These weak muscles will cause chronic neck pain, and you'll have the inability to hold your neck in the proper positioning, even if you are trying to fix your posture. You can also get H&P, which is also known as bulging disc. The bulging disc, from having your head in a forward flexion, pushes your disc out of your spine, kind of like when you squeeze a water balloon, and the discs are then pushing on your nerve roots, which can cause radiating pain and numbness and tingling down your arms and into your hands.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about the anatomy of the spine, specifically the cervical spine. So your cervical spine is meant to have a lordotic curve. A lordotic curve means that if you're facing the back of someone, it's going to be concave towards you. The thoracic spine is meant to be a kyphotic curve, meaning the opposite of the cervical spine. And then the lower back is meant to have also a lordotic curve. These curves of the spine allow for proper loading of the spine, so your head and your body puts a load on your spine, and those curves allow for the best possible load. So now we're going to compare the difference between the cervical spine and the lumbar spine. As you can see, the lumbar spine vertebral bodies are significantly larger and thicker than the cervical spine bodies. This is because the lumbar spine are meant to carry a larger load, so not only your head but also the rest of your body. So as you can see from this model, the lumbar spine, so in your lower back, are significantly thicker than the ones up here. And with tech neck, with that forward head posture and constantly flexing your neck, it increases that load on these small discs, and it's not supposed to be that way.
So, as Anna said, the cervical spine is not made to carry heavy loads. You can see by the demonstration on the screen that if we would all take to texting with our head up this way, our head would remain in neutral position. This is only 10 to 12 pounds on those vertebrae. For every 5 degrees of flexion, our head increases by a factor of 3. That being said, if you're in the arms tucked, heads down texting posture, that's 60 pounds on these vertebrae. They are not made to withstand these forces. Some other problems that can occur with the anatomy of tech neck is degenerative disc disease and spinal stenosis. This is a disease that happens in the majority of the population, however, it's beginning to start at an earlier age. With this disease, your discs are losing hydration and becoming flatter. With this, you can also get bone spurring, which encloses the space that the nerves have to come out of the vertebrae. Because of this, you're getting the push on nerve entrapment symptoms that can also be causing the radiating pain.
So Jamie started talking about the nerve roots in your cervical spine. So here you can see that you have different nerve roots running through the vertebral bodies of your cervical spine. And with tech neck, those spaces in between there decrease, which entraps those nerves and can make them swell and can cause radiating pain down your arms and hands. So as you can see, these dermatomes, the colored parts of his arms and hands, are what the nerve roots correspond to when they're entrapped.
So continuing with anatomy, we're going to talk about just a few of the many muscles that can affect your cervical spine. First, I want to talk to you about the sternocleidomastoid and the scalenes. Both of these muscles contribute to head flexion. The sternocleidomastoid is the primary mover, and the scalenes assist this motion. Patients in tech neck often have their head in the forward position, shortening their muscles so that it becomes hard to lengthen those muscles to get back in normal posture. On the opposite side, on your back, we have the paraspinal muscles, which run parallel to the spine. When fired bilaterally, these extend the neck backwards. You also have your upper traps, which is a muscle you may be more familiar with. When these are fired bilaterally, they extend the head and neck backwards. In patients with tech neck, we're finding that these muscles don't have the strength or the endurance to help keep your head in the proper positioning. A couple of our thoracic muscles are the erector spinae group, which is responsible for extension of the vertebral column. You also have your rhomboids, which are the most overlooked muscle in the shoulder. The rhomboids are made in position between your scapula and your spine. On contraction, it retracts your scapula backwards and gets you into the proper positioning we'll talk later about in this PowerPoint. Alright, so while we're talking about muscles, I thought this would be a good time to bring up trigger points. Trigger points is a relatively new topic that a lot of people don't know a lot about. Trigger points are defined as hyper-irritable spots in skeletal muscle. You might often feel these, they feel like a bump in your skin. But when these form, they elicit a referred pain pattern. And if you look at the pictures, we'll use the upper trap as an example because it's the most common. If you reach about where that X is, you may feel a knot. If so, that could be the cause of your headache, which would follow that red diagram. But it's important to remember it doesn't have to follow it exactly. You might just get it in the forward. You might not get the whole circle backwards.
So now we're going to go into a little bit more detail about the causes of tech neck. So the number one cause is poor posture. So we've already talked about that. So while you're sitting, standing, and throughout the entire day, make sure that you're keeping good posture so your shoulders are back and your ears are aligned with your shoulders. Second, we have excessive neck flexion, excessive kyphotic posture, and scapular protraction. So scapular protraction means that your scapula are not pulled back together like they're supposed to be, but instead they're slumped over like this. Number three, so more specifically, we have texting, staring at a computer for a majority of the day, gaming, so playing on video games, especially for the younger generation, and general lack of movement. So general lack of movement is going to cause a static load on that cervical spine, which is going to increase the signs and symptoms of tech neck. Number four is looking at a computer for a majority of the day. Oftentimes, while you're looking at a computer, you get distracted with what you're working on, and you start straining to see what's on the computer. That's going to cause that forward head posture and can also cause the flex position sometimes, which is going to increase tech neck. And the last one is at work, people have many opportunities to look down. This causes those bad postural habits that we've been talking about, which are hard to fix. They can be fixed, but just being aware of having good posture is going to be key. So there's a lot of research discussing the causes of tech neck. Some of the research says that sitting for more than 95% of the workday can double your risks of having neck pain. Also, some of the research says that bad posture causes a continuous load on the neck, causing pain and radicular symptoms.
To dive right in and talk about prevention of technique, the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the importance of good posture and what good posture is defined as. So good posture is defined, as Anna has mentioned, with ears aligned with your shoulders and your scapula retracted backwards. Most people we're seeing these days present with this bad posture, which will lead to these symptoms. So here we have an example of sitting posture. You can see our first lady is sitting with the most common posture we see, with the rounded shoulders and the head down. In the middle is what we like to talk about as our primary example, with the shoulders above the ears above the shoulders. You might be asking yourself what exactly the difference is between 2 and 3. Well, if you look closely, you'll notice that in the picture 3, she's missing that lordotic curve of her back, which, as Anna mentioned earlier, is necessary for your forces to work down your spine as made to be. Alright, so on with prevention. Number 1, still keep good posture throughout the day. To help do this, we suggest taking micro breaks. You can set your phone timer for an hour to remind you to get up and stretch. There's a few examples up on the board, and we have more posted. Alright, so as I said with prevention, it's important to remember every generation is at risk. The earlier we start seeing signs of tech neck, the worse it can be. It's starting to show up in early 20s, where this used to only be a problem in our 40s and 50s. So promote good posture with your children, grandchildren, anybody you know in the younger generation, because prevention truly is key.
So once again, throughout your day, while you're sitting at your desk or while you're standing, throughout your entire day, you're going to have to ask yourself, are you sitting correctly at work? So if you feel like you're getting the signs and symptoms of tech neck, or you need to be evaluated, you can visit the OHF for an evaluation. Also, you can contact your safety officer for an ergonomic evaluation. For an ergonomic evaluation, they'll come into your workspace and actually evaluate what needs to be changed at your workspace. So the height of your chair, the position of your computer monitor, whether you need a different mouse, etc. They'll come in and they'll order that equipment for you and set up your workspace to promote that good posture. And right there is the OHF evaluation number. And then you can also self-check yourself at that website at Matt Middlesworth Ergonomics Plus, and you can evaluate yourself how you're sitting at work. So now we're going to go into more detail about the treatment of tech neck. So first we have modalities. So in the athletic training room, we use electrical stimulation a lot. And for electrical stimulation, we put electrodes on the affected area, so most of the time on the muscle that is hurting or causing the pain. That electrical stimulation is going to work on that muscle that is tight or that has little adhesive knots in it, and it will work out those knots, and it can also promote healing and prevent pain. And then the other two modalities, we have ice and heat. So ice is more for preventing and stopping inflammation, and it also can help reduce pain. Heat we use more for warming up the muscles. So before you do your therapeutic exercises, oftentimes you can use heat to warm up that muscle to prevent more strains and tears. And then over here, so the most important one is active postural awareness. So once again, when you create those bad habits, they're hard to fix, but one of the best things that you can do for yourself is to constantly remind yourself to get back into that proper posture. Right here we have therapeutic exercises, so we'll go into more detail about them in a few slides, but it's just going to help you get moving, so it's going to prevent that static load on your cervical spine, and it's also going to strengthen those neck extensors in the back of your neck to help keep your head in the proper position. And over here we have therapeutic massage, so this is kind of a different treatment for it, but basically with therapeutic massage you're working out those adhesions in your muscle that causes those knots. And like Jamie was talking about earlier with the trigger points, we can focus on those trigger points and it will help relieve pain.
There's been various amounts of research on this subject, but what's really important to realize is that there is proof that following an exercise protocol, subjects were able to demonstrate that they could maintain that neutral cervical posture during prolonged sitting after following the exercise protocol. So we want you to remember that therapeutic exercise is your best medicine, and go get active. I'm not saying you have to become a runner or bodybuilder, but just take a few minutes out of your morning, do the stretches we're going to recommend, and work some time in to do these exercises, because prevention truly is key. Alright, so beginning to talk about stretching, as I just mentioned, we really focus on stretching that SCM and the scalenes. By doing this, you can stretch your flexors by doing neck extension, lateral bending, and rotation. This will hit all the fibers of the muscle. We want you to stretch by applying a slight overpressure. Don't feel like you have to push yourself too far, and hold each stretch for at least 20 seconds.
So here are some specific therapeutic exercises that you can do at home to help strengthen those neck extensors to keep your head up properly. First, we have chin tucks. So with chin tucks, you're going to go from a sitting up straight, normal head position, and you're basically just going to bring your head, your chin, straight back. You don't want to rotate your head up or down, you just want to bring your chin directly back. This is going to help strengthen those muscles and increase their ability to hold your head up. Second, we have prone hanging neck extensions. So with this, you can use a table, anything you can hang your head off like she has in the first picture. And you're basically going to start in a flex position and then bring your head up into a neutral position or past that if you can. And with this exercise, you want to remember while you're bringing your neck up to look up at the same time. Over here we have side lateral flexion. So with this, you want to position yourself exactly how he is. And you want to basically bring your ear directly up to your shoulder. So you want to make sure you're not rotating your neck at the same time, but you're just bringing it straight up. This is going to strengthen those muscles on the sides of your neck, which is also going to help hold your head up correctly. Now we have thoracic threes. So these three exercises are targeting the muscles in between your scapula, your rhomboids. So Jamie mentioned those earlier. These muscles are going to keep your shoulder blades retracted, and it's going to keep you from rounding your shoulders. So the first one we have, you're going to take a TheraBand, which is a stretchy, resistive material. You're going to take one in each hand like the picture shows, and you're going to keep your arms straight and pull straight down. While you're doing this motion, you want to make sure that you're squeezing your scapula together. The second one here is a basic row. So you're going to move the band up a little bit, and this time you're going to bend your arms straight back like this, remembering at the same time to pull your scapula together. And thirdly, the hardest one is basically the same as the second one, but this time you're going to keep your arms completely straight. You're going to bring the bands out just like this. So for all three of these, just remember to squeeze your scapula throughout the entire motion, because that's going to train those rhomboids to pull your scapula together and back.
Alright, so in conclusion, we hope you realize that tech neck is indeed affecting all age groups. It is important to take a preventative approach and be proactive with the signs of tech neck. This doesn't mean that if you don't have signs, you don't need to be preventative. The signs will come if we don't start to correct this improper positioning. So practice good posture daily until it becomes a habit. Also, help educate the younger generation by assisting them with their good posture habits. So do you feel like you're suffering from tech neck? If so, come see us at RehabWorks. We'd be happy to schedule your free consult, which you can be evaluated and receive advice and strengthening recommendations that are tailored to you to prevent your further symptoms.
Thank you for watching our presentation of tech neck. I hope you got a lot of great information to help you manage your own signs and symptoms. But if you're still needing a little bit of extra help, we'll be happy to help you. Contact us at 867-7497 or at the email address on the screen. Thank you again to Jamie and Anna for working so hard this summer. We really enjoyed having you. Also, if you enjoyed this presentation, you might enjoy some of the others that we have to offer. Check out our website on the bottom of the screen.